And then lastly, the goal of resolving conflict is like, as you begin to learn when to use a timeout, when to pause and say, help me understand. When you do all of those things, you're going to it's going to take you a while to perfect that. Okay. The first time you do it, it's going to feel really choppy. It's probably not going to work very well. If you usually fight for hours or days, the goal is just to shorten that amount of time. Okay. The next time a conflict comes up, see if you can shorten that amount of time that conflict lasts until you get down to where you really just only have like a barely a little blip on the radar when there's a conflict, and you go, oh, wait a minute. Let me try to understand where you're coming from. Let me hear you out on what you're saying. And the beauty of this is that it actually can go either way. Each person at each stage can pull you out of that negative pattern. It just depends on who notices and who's willing to do the work to pull you out of it. It's not gender specific in that regard. However, what triggers you, what you react to, is very gender specific. Remember all the things that we talked about for the last 3 days, that those are things that you might inadvertently be saying that cause more conflict than you intend for it to cause. And that's why I start with that before we go into the conflict resolution, is because you got to understand what kinds of things might upset your mate. And if you know those things and you're in that pattern, you go, oh, I am sorry. The way I said that, I can imagine that hurt your feelings. Will you forgive me? And then you move forward into the next spot on the cycle in terms of dialogue back and forth and how you resolve that conflict. One final thing I want to say is that in the middle of a conflict, you want to be especially careful about going face to face and being very confrontational in that way. You want to be a little bit off center, especially if things are heated, because that will also diffuse it. Doesn't mean you can't make eye contact, but just don't be square on, like in your face. We are going to talk about this, whether you like it or not. I've actually seen people do that, where you will listen to me, you will talk to me, and all that happens is their mate gets defensive.